Hey, Steve, what you drinking there?
It's Timmy's.
Wow.
Yep.
It's got some really interesting logoing on it. What could that be? Could it be roll up to win?
Yeah, like
Whoa.
$1,000 cash from Rakuten. I rolled my
awfully
arse because
jealous.
Jesse can't do it.
We're
I'm
so
awfully
jealous.
jealous because they ran out of roll-up-to-win cups at my Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
You know what's great is I'm pretty sure I ordered this from the same Tim's as you guys.
Yeah,
so
well-
get wrecked and get good.
You know, because here's the thing. It only is on until March 23rd, so get in there and get your cups and get rolling. Remember, you got to download the Tim's app. And like I said, it's the end of the week that this is all over.
That's so soon.
That's
you need
so-
to drink 7 coffees a day and vibrate.
So few days. Remember,
That's
$1,000
so few
prize
days.
from Rakuten. You got sell-off vacations. You got a Volkswagen ID Buzz, which I maintain is one of the coolest electric vehicles on the road.
And Steve's ATV that
That's
he's going
right,
to use in
yeah.
Ajax.
Oh, man. I'm going to just roll over everything.
his latest hunting trip.
Yes.
You know, because that's Steve.
No,
anyway,
no.
All right.
Bird
roll up to
watching.
win on the Tim's app now. Rules apply. Canada only. No purchase necessary. Visit the Tim's app for details. Let's start the show.
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
All right.
Okay.
Is that the start now?
No, get into the show.
Oh, okay. All right. Fine. Hey. So we're here. Woo! Where is here? We could be anywhere really, because all
Yeah,
you're seeing
for
is
anybody listening, nothing's changed.
nothing has changed. But this is the first show that the three of us in our 13 seasons, 14 seasons together,
Since a long time.
since months, since years, that we have ever done a show inside Scotiabank Arena.
Yeah.
And we are in a dressing room adjacent to the Leafs dressing room.
Yes, a fake dressing room.
People
People dress here.
They do dress
but
here.
it's not to play hockey.
Yeah.
Talk about hockey.
This is actually the green room right now.
Yeah.
They're using the green room for Amazon. As you can see, if you're watching behind us, there's a Monday Night Hockey thing. If not, you'll just have to imagine it. But we are We are here to interview John Forsland, who obviously our American listeners will know very, very well for his time with the Whalers and Hurricanes, and of course some national broadcasts now with the Kraken as well. But in Canada, we're just getting to know him, and he's an absolute legend in American hockey that Canadians have had very little experience with until this season.
It was so good meeting him a couple of weeks ago because we're just like, hey, we're Adam, we're Steve. And he's like, cool, great. Here's one of the top 10 stories you've ever heard. Like, for no good reason. Like,
Can you share that story, or are we going to hear it in the
No,
interview?
no.
He's going to tell the story.
Okay.
On,
Yeah.
we're setting him up for that.
Okay,
one.
okay,
That's going to
good.
be a monster.
Good. And that'll
John-
air Wednesday.
Yeah, is that when this interview is going to air?
The one we're doing today with Forsland's going to air in Wednesday's show.
I didn't
So
know
everything
that.
we're teasing is going to come up on Wednesday's program.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Man, you're so good.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
no,
crazy.
it's just you got to keep organized.
Yeah.
You're
Somebody
so-
has.
Somebody
That's
had
what I'm
to.
saying.
Somebody has.
That's what I'm saying. I'd be like, no, just upload all of it.
You know,
Make
and
it garbage.
It's a little awkward that we're here, but thankfully this room is soundproof, and it's awkward that we're here because of how Saturday night went for our beloved Toronto Maple Leafs and how it's been lately. And I thought about that on the way. I talked to Natalie about it before I came. I was like, maybe I need to tell Steve to, but I can't.
Then tell Steve to what? It's soundproof. Let's.
It is soundproof. It is, yeah. Oh, down. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the doors are, but the ceilings for sure are not.
Oh.
And listen, you know what? It's
Somebody's gonna be pooping right in there.
I've heard what Steve thought because I watched LFR, right?
Yeah.
And if you didn't get it, basically, if you missed the game, the Leafs lost again because they can't score enough goals again. Now, Jesse, you were at morning skate today.
Mm-hmm.
They've rejigged the lines. Before I read the lines out, what was the mood at skate this morning?
There was an emphasis by Craig Berube when we talked to him after morning skate.
Oh
that the
no,
team-
boo! It's all his fault.
Uh,
Oh, I can't
That's
wait.
ridiculous.
I can't wait. All right.
That
sorry.
the team was upset about the loss,
Oh,
and
yeah?
now how much you want to believe it, you want to like take that as you can at face value or with a grain of salt, no matter how you want to interpret it. He said it that the team is upset with how they've been playing. He recognizes they're not playing well. It's not a case of them saying, hey, we're doing the good stuff. We just got to keep plugging away. They know they're doing the wrong things, and they're trying to fix it.
Now-
That is what's going on.
Are you suggesting that perhaps lessons are being learned?
No,
I'm not. I was like, don't.
I am
not. 30 seconds later.
I am not suggesting that because they have not learned the lessons yet. They're in the middle of trying to learn the lesson, which would be playing better hockey. And they know they're not playing well. Like,
So at least they know that.
they don't need Steve to yell at them to let them know that they're playing bad. That's the one thing about when guys make mistakes on the ice.
Yeah.
They know they made the mistake. When a coach sees the team that doesn't come out for the first 40 minutes of a hockey game and then decides to turn it on the last 20 because they're trailing, the coach sees that. We see that. Everybody sees that.
And did Chief talk about that a little bit?
Did. What did he say? He said he's unimpressed with how they've been starting lately, and they need to play their game, which is the Craig Berube hockey that he's been trying to teach them how to play. They need to play it for a full 60 minutes, and they haven't been doing it, and he acknowledged that they're not doing it.
How much money have the Leafs wasted on getting multiple people to say the same thing?
That is, I think, where the conversation needs to go, because we need to acknowledge that the coach sees what's going on, the players know what's going on, but are the players capable of doing the right thing? That's what people start and end the conversation with. Yeah, they keep saying they need to start better, and we know they need to start better. We all know they need to start better, but are the players capable of that? Let's advance the conversation a little further.
And what do you think?
No, that's $1 million question.
After the most part of a decade of them starting late, what do you think the chances are they start late?
I'm starting to believe the 8 years of evidence that maybe they can't.
I am not here to pick on the team. I'm not here to pick on people who believe in the team. I believe in the team.
That's the frustrating part, though. Because you know they can't.
Well,
You've seen them.
No. Because these games mean more.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
These games down the stretch, all the best teams ramp up. Like, we've been singing the praises of Florida for so long, who are actually not doing so great right now, except they beat the Leafs. But they're actually not doing all that great. But they've been on a run of excellent hockey since the stretch of 2023, when they weren't a playoff team. They barely made it. Bruins,
Squeaked through.
Bruins are going to beat them in 3. And then they came back. They beat them. They patted the Leafs on their bottom. They patted the Hurricanes on their bottom. And they ended up losing to Vegas.
You know what I like to think?
What?
I like to say? I like to say the Leafs got further in that playoffs than the Hurricanes did, because at least we beat the Florida Panthers.
You say whatever you like.
You ever like to cope?
I
Sometimes we got to cope.
I think you nailed it, Steve, because
I know.
the way this season looks like it's going to play out, I am forever going to look at that Florida game that happened last Thursday as the turning point of the season. Yeah. They came back from that long road trip. They squeaked out a win against Utah, and it's like, okay, they're tired, but they're going to get up for this Florida game. And they played a tight game, and they lost, and it wasn't great. And then you got your little break. You got your day off on Friday. They didn't have practice. And you're supposed to get up for the Ottawa Senators game after losing that tight Florida game, because nobody was happy that you lost, even though you played a tight game. You lost on special teams, and then they didn't get up for that. And that Florida game kind of marks the beginning, the end of the goodwill that they built up all season long for winning a bunch of games.
The 5 games they won out of 4 nations.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sure,
we were all
of course,
happy. And then
of course.
that Florida game coming out of that from now until the rest of the season kind of is the turning point of the fan base and the mood around the Leafs.
Dude. These games mean more. Mm-hmm. They're important, and there's no benefit of the doubt. Like, there are certain teams that you know, maybe like the Avalanche, for example, at the beginning of the season, we're like, man, they kind of stink. And it's like, well,
they had 2 starters dressed, basically.
Well, yeah, like, okay, so you're injured, and also, like, do you have a goalie? And the Avs went, nope, and they traded for 2, and look at them. They're fine. They're A-okay. They're good enough to come back and beat the
our
Leafs.
center position stinks. How about we go get Brock Nelson?
And now here we are, 4 games after the deadline, or 3, or whatever it is. Holmberg's on the second line again. Domi's at center again.
Yeah,
Can you read it, Adam, please?
So Nyes, Matthews. So this is the criticism. They switch the lines once. It doesn't go their way. They don't stick to it.
Can we pat ourselves on the back here for Friday's episode?
Well, because
we almost nailed the lines
Every
exactly.
Leaf fan nailed it.
All they had to do was win, but they've gone back to this. So
I'd be a lot more puffing my chest out if they won 5-2.
But we did kind of predict it. Now I will say that this is the we need goals lineup.
Yep.
The we need goals lineup is as follows: Nyes, Matthews, Marner, Holmberg, Tavares, Nylander, McMahon, Domi, Robertson, Lorentz, Lawton, Yarncroke. Kampf is sitting. McDavid. McCabe, Tanev, Rielly, Carlo, Benoit, Ekman, Larson. And
For all the changes they've made up front, they haven't done a lick on the back end.
no, and that's
Those are your 6 guys.
That is next. Yeah, you can move some of those guys. I do want to have a chat about one Morgan Rielly, but the first though is Scott Lawton, and this is already making the rounds on Twitter. The lineup was announced like an hour and a half ago, and people were like, they gave up a first round pick and a prospect, and it's already unacceptable. I'm like, okay.
They also tried him on the second line.
There were many reasons why I wasn't like jacked about Scott Lawton coming to Toronto for what the price was going to be. I think Scott Lawton coming to Toronto is a positive. I think Scott Lawton.
No, this was one of those years.
Is amazing.
Hey, do you want this guy? Sure. Oh, what's the price? Oh, Jesus, no.
Yeah. and so, it's important to have that third line center, right?
Yeah.
Really important. And hey, listen.
Wait, which line?
Third line center. Yeah. But now he's on the fourth, and people are upset about it. And you've given up Grabankin in the first to get him. You did get retention though, so only $1.5 million.
Grabankin.
So, let's start there. What does that say?
Okay, so I think as Leaf fans, we keep trying to be like, all right, what did the 2023 team do right, and how do we replicate that? And I think that's wrong on account of they won 5 games.
The what?
Yeah.
Man, that's our great benchmark to go back to.
They're button mashing right now, and that's okay. That's okay. A team that didn't win a series, but they punched so above their weight, they shouldn't have won a single game. That's what this roster reminds me of, is the 2017 playoff lineup. Their decor
against the Capitals, right? Just terrible.
Well, and the President's Trophy winning Capitals, like the Leafs shouldn't have won a single game. It went 6 games. 5 of them went to overtime. All 6 decided by 1 goal. And the way the Leafs got by in that series was rolling 4 lines, something this team hasn't been able to do for a very long time. They can roll 4 lines with this lineup. You would imagine that the Leafs would have an easier time rolling 4 lines if they split Matthews, Marner, and Nylander up onto 3 different lines. But this is a way to – this is their attempt, I think, at having their cake and eating it too, because they're kind of stacking, but it's also a pretty deep lineup. I mean, there's no weakness at center. I was very unimpressed with Holmberg at center. And this almost all season he's played wing. I don't know what the percentage is, but I would say 2/3. Just guessing, eyeballing it. It's weird that they're still this fidgety with a lineup this deep into the season that they've added to.
So I think the thing about the lineup is that it works how you outlined it. It works in theory. In theory, yes. But Saturday, you try the thing that we've been asking them to try forever, and that's splitting up the guys. It doesn't work once, and you run away from it. Is that the right mentality to have? Shouldn't you try it more than one game? It's the same thing with Willie at center. I laughed so hard when anybody believed it was going to happen this season again out of training camp, and it lasted 0 seconds.
If they do that again, like in September, I'm boycotting them. I'm doing Flames videos.
That's how I felt this September.
Justin Wolf.
They tried it on Saturday, this new lineup, and then they immediately abandoned it come Monday. Is that the right thing to do?
No.
I think you got to give it a little bit of runway, and they didn't. I'm specifically talking about the part of splitting up Matthews, Marner, and Nylander.
Yeah.
Because Nylander looked great on his own. I thought Marner was okay. He had a good game. And Austin was okay as well. It wasn't
very average.
It was okay, which
very
isn't
average.
Austin Matthews' standard.
And he scored a goal, but
it was on nobody.
I mean, anyone could have scored that goal.
Was flying into the net at
But
that point.
it was-
But hey, Domi Matthews combined for a goal, and their first line did again.
There were so many moments because I streamed that game. I was just like, but no, it's in. Like, I just had no idea what was actually going on.
So it didn't work in the sense of they won or anything, but I think it works in the sense of that's ideally how you want things to play out. The guys separated.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky thing for the coach. And the coach is trying to win games, and he held on longer than most Leaf fans gave him credit. They're like, it's going to be like 8-9 minutes into the game. He's going to go away from it. It wasn't until it was like the end of the second, maybe the beginning of the third.
After 2 bad periods.
Yeah, like separating Babcock the guy from Babcock the coach. Like one decision he made that wasn't all that popular at the time, but like you kind of got to do those things with the Leaf team that he had, just full of rookies. The Leafs had a 4-1 lead over Detroit in the Centennial Classic. Red Wings make it 4-3. Final minute. He throws nothing but kids out there. And his justification for it was like, well, you got to see if they can do it. Like, you got to put them in these positions. And
was that when Hunwick was on like the poster for the
dude,
game?
it was
Yeah, they
Hunwick,
weren't allowed to-
Bozak, Komarov,
Oh my god.
and Rielly.
No, that was the Navy. That was the next year when they were in the Navy game.
It might have been both. Yeah, it might have been Hainsey replacing Hunwick.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Hunwick
know,
was
man.
on that team. You're right.
I don't know, man.
Depressing when those are the guys you got to use to market the game.
Bless Lou. Oh, bless sweet baby Lou. I wish, like, okay, if this is what you're trying, let them try in their most desperate moments. They need a goal here, and then what's kind of discouraging about that is they didn't score when they abandoned it, and that they're punishing the same group, the same top 6 by putting them back
By
together.
rewarding them. I think that's I think you've landed on the
Yeah.
thing. It didn't work for all season long.
Yeah.
That's why they tried something new on Saturday. That didn't work. So then they go back to the thing that didn't work for 65 games.
And
I
what
guess they were
what-
getting
excuse
depth
me?
scoring from McMahon and Robertson. That's what they're
McMahon's
saying.
disappeared. Like, it's so disappointing. But like, here's so what were their 2 goals? The Matthews goal is just, it's not repeatable. Domi bowling balled his way into the net after Ullmark misplayed the puck. If you're a goalie, tend the goal.
Sad Linus Ullmark.
You almost got it. Linus. Oh my God. And Mikey Stevens had him in fantasy and beat me. It was just a great weekend for me. The first goal. What was the first goal? You guys remember?
Give it to us.
There's William Nylander going, screw it, I'm doing it on my own.
He held that puck for the most magical amount of time.
Yes.
Him just going through the zone, just all dipsy-dooling around, and then it ends with a goal. Like, I was talking on Friday about how he's most effective when he has the puck on his stick, and that was a prime example of that. And I love those William Nylander goals.
I do too, but the go to the net goals, the deflection goals,
Where did he score
the
from?
banging goals, he scored it from, he went to the net.
He went to the net through his own power, his own skating ability.
When we see those special plays, I go, hot damn, that was amazing, and I don't know if that's repeatable. It's
Second in the league in goal
certain
scoring.
players, it is
for,
repeatable.
for guys at that
Yeah.
upper echelon, I'm saying Willie should be on his own line doing that every night.
What I'm looking for, though, out of this team is something they can reliably do that's going to go in on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? What this lineup tonight, and I don't know, you can nod your head or laugh depending on what happens, but I think it's designed to bring out the bottom 6 more and make them an option. Because now you have 4 lines that can score. And I'm glad Berube saw something that I could have swore I saw, which was the 4th line that they had coming out of the deadline. I'm like, this isn't anything. This is 3 men. This is just 3 random men. Like, you got to have an identity or something. And the Leafs' identity used to be that you could score from anywhere, or score in any situation. You could score any way. And over the years, it's eroded to 4 guys score some of the time. And that's just not an identity. Yeah. So hopefully the top 6 can at very least break even. And then the bottom 6 can actually pull their weight. Like this is a lineup I don't mind them playing at home. You know, you can insulate Domi, Robertson, McMahon, which I'm sorry you have to. We've seen enough evidence that you have to. 4th line is an option to score now. I still don't love Holmberg. 2nd line left wing. Adam, you did Agent Provocateur with Alan,
I did, and still do.
and he talked about Max Pacioretty.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I meant an episode recently. What's the deal?
Well, I don't know. It's not. You're asking me to. How does it leak information like that to
Well,
me?
I want to know if he's an option to come back.
He
man.
was skating with Hakanpää before.
Yeah,
practice
Yanni
today.
Hakanpää and Max Pacioretty were on the ice before morning skate this
Yeah,
morning.
it'd be great to
Great.
get Tavares and Pacioretty back together. I agree with you on that.
Steve, that
What's
was
the deal?
I don't know.
that went a ways.
Agents can't talk about that
just
stuff, right? They can't
just
talk
the
about injuries.
counterpoint.
Did you do like any winking?
No.
To counterpoint on the lineup decision, you're talking about getting bottom six scoring.
Yep.
I think having William Nylander within the bottom six, if you want to categorize it like that, or having Mitch and Tavares technically as the third line or whatever, I think spreading the guys out creates depth.
What is it though that only Willie can?
Yeah.
Why is it only Willie that does?
Why is it only that Austin and Mitch got to play together?
And I looked at.
I think it's the same question.
I do think the quotes like that. Again, I think people are the heat is on Mitch again because of the contract situation and what happened at the trade deadline, and Mikko Rantanen could have been a Leaf and all of that stuff, right? None of that's Mitch's fault, man. That is from on high. But when I look at the way that they've structured this, every single time it's incumbent on somebody to drive their own line. Austin does it. John Tavares sometimes is asked to do it.
Willie for sure.
Willie for sure is asked to do it. Like, imagine like last season when they put Matthews between Bertuzzi and Domi. He's driving that line, right?
You think?
Yeah. They never. But it's funny because when we saw it in November
Mitch
with Matthews
did it for
out,
a month.
he was good at it.
Yeah. He was
And I'm
really
trying to
good.
figure out why they haven't gone back to that.
Can I offer? I don't know about words of encouragement for Mitch, but I wonder if the reason they're stapling him to Matthews is because there are things Matthews is struggling to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows why? I don't know.
Injury could be anything.
I don't know. And Mitch has to do them. Like, I wonder if part of the reason Mitch is there is Mitch has to do a little bit more work. Right. And that whole, Domi Bertuzzi fun chaos Beavis and Butthead line. Dude, I loved that line.
I did love that.
It was so good, but like that's that was those two playing with a guy who scored 69 goals last year, and he's just not that guy right now. And like that's okay. That's okay. Like, I sort of gave it to Mitch for the quote about like, well, they want us to get points every night, but we're playing great defense. Like that was what I praised Matthews for at the Four Nation. Is the goals weren't going in for him, but he was playing impeccable defense. I'm still, even though the results are somewhat the same, I'm not watching the same person. Like, I'm not watching the same person I watched 3 weeks ago at the Four Nation faceoff.
Well,
the jump, the pop, whatever it is not there.
The reason I brought up Mitch's quote was to contrast it with Nyes' quote, again, pregame, and he said, well, we could be better too.
This happens often. If you're paying attention, Mitch tries that. I don't know, maybe it's a veteran thing, the even keel, everything's fine, don't worry about it. And then you ask anyone else, and they're like, yeah, man, this is pretty bad.
Well, no, but he said, listen, we can bring up our game, we could be better. And so, okay, we couple that with the guys were pissed off about what happened against Ottawa. I would hope so. I would hope that you're mad.
Sometimes that's all fans want to hear.
Yeah.
Like,
Because that's the thing in previous years, like Dubas will never give you that. He'll never give you that because
maybe it's a good thing all our defensemen are injured.
Yeah, or actually you're wrong. Your eyes are lying to you. Cody Ceci was awesome all season. Like that sort of stuff. They can that can be frustrating. And I think that's created the frustration. And I think sometimes fans have to have that sort of like, hey, am I seeing? Are we seeing the same stuff here? Right. So I don't
feeling the same thing. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not even upset. Like, dude, like, just anecdotally talking to a lot of Leaf fans who aren't necessarily chronically online like the rest of us, they're watching these games going, I don't think they care.
Which I don't think is true.
I don't think it's true either. But listen, people's feelings are relevant.
Yeah. Yep.
Relevant. I realize those jumbled together.
Irrelevant.
What are you doing here? That is how a lot of Leaf fans feel about this team. So having your anger or frustration or whatever it is validated, I think goes a long way.
So then I want to go to the defense here for a sec.
Feels good to say that in this building.
So you got McCabe. McCabe Tanev has been solid as a rock all year long.
Sure.
They've been really, really good. Some of the top defensive pairing minutes, and obviously both have been injured at various points. And I think since Tanev's been back, they've been a little clunky, but I think they'll get that back. I'm not worried about that.
McCabe tried to do a bit too much.
Yeah,
against Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine.
But
Listen,
McCabe's been so solid.
Yes,
It's
yes.
rare.
Benoit Ekman-Larsson
Nope.
doesn't work, but it's going again tonight. One thing that I am convinced is not work, and I'm eye testing it all the way here, is actually, I've got real numbers for you.
You got natural stature cup.
In 46.
I had to show him where to get it.
Yeah, because I kept going to another site, and I'm like, this is garbage. And I'm like, this is garbage. No, I went to another site. It was really bad.
Natural stature.
So
They got the goods.
Rielly and Carlo have played on the ice a 5-on-5, 46-34 together, 46 minutes total. Okay. Their goals for are 3. Their goals against are 3. What scares me a little bit.
Better than I thought.
What scares me a little bit is the expected goals for.
Oh no.
Which is 1.59 when they're on the ice. Now, their expected goals against is also low, but are we not a little worried about that?
No.
Because Morgan Rielly is supposed to be the offensive defenseman,
Yeah.
and he's not been. And this is what brings me back to, were him and OEL, I didn't check him and OEL's stats before this, but were they that bad together that they can't do an all-up? Like, if we're going to do a Tanev McCabe, why can't we do an OEL Rielly?
Well,
Rielly's already off the power play,
then
right?
that makes Carlo Benoit.
Uh-huh.
And I think, dude, Benny is losing me.
Yeah, I liked him last
And
year.
OEL's losing me too, man. He's in the box way too often. That game featured 2 penalties because the refs decided we're not calling anything.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're calling that one. Like, there are a few guys, I pointed this out early in the season, using Benoit as the reference, where, like, I'm not convinced they get out there and watch the games. I think they're out there looking for 3 or 4 different numbers. And they're like, number 2 did something.
The refs?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
number 2
OEL's
did
the same.
something.
OEL's got a tight
95
whistle.
did some throw. Yeah.
But I think those 6 guys on the back end, those are your 6 guys. Like
What? Got high sticked in the face.
You're going into the playoffs with those guys, and it's just a matter of what combination you want. Because I don't think Myers cracks Benoit's spot. So it's just those 6 guys, and it's about figuring out how to maneuver those pairings.
I think you're wrong.
You think Myers gets in?
I think Jesse. What they call arenas affectionately they call them barns, but the true connoisseurs they call them places of worship. They call them cathedrals.
Yes.
And I think hallelujah, it's a miracle.
Yes.
Yanni Hakanpää, game 1. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. Maddie, get the jersey on.
Game 1.
Let's go. I'm
Game
telling
1,
you he's
I don't
playing.
know. Out of game 1,
Telling
I
you
don't
he's
know.
playing.
If he could get in a couple regular season games, then I can see it.
But that's an LTIR thing, isn't it?
They might have. I haven't looked. I don't have. Caps
I don't
on-
know.
Or puck beat in front of me, so I don't know if they can fit him.
Okay. So here's my next
He's
question.
playing game 1.
Leafs. Let's say so the Leafs schedule this week is tonight Calgary, Wednesday Avalanche, Thursday Rangers, who are in a playoff spot. I told you guys the Rangers are making the playoffs.
Cool.
And the Predators, the sad sack Predators, on Saturday, which is that's scary for a Leaf fan. That doesn't scream domination game to me.
They get 4 out of 4, Colorado, New York, and lose about 5-1
Okay.
on Saturday night.
If the Leafs win 3 of the next 4, how much does next Monday's show change compared to this Monday's show?
A lot, because they will have won instead of lost. Like,
Well, and then so my follow up to that immediately
sorry.
is because here's the problem. When they were winning games in in January, no, I understand why you said that. It was very funny.
At some point, they're going to have to look like the better team.
Well, that and they're going to have to score more than 2 goals.
That too.
So is it going to be, they beat Calgary 2-0? I don't know that anyone's going to feel all that confident after that. It'd be great for Wool.
At this point, it doesn't matter, I think.
Don't you need to score more than 3?
If you win 1-0, there's a little calming of the fan base. Regardless of how you win, a win does it tonight.
Okay.
Going forward, like if we're talking about how they look in the playoffs, I'm concerned. Like, just
I'm looking
point
at a lot
blank.
of 2 and 3 goal results here for the Leafs.
If they win 8-0 tonight, I'm still concerned about going into the playoffs because of what they've shown us over the last week and a bit or so since Four Nations. Like, they had some good games, but lately they haven't been great. So I feel like a win calms the fan base, but long term, still some concern about a deep run.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But like I'm looking. Okay, so you got Dustin Wolf, you got Mackenzie Blackwood, who you cut up recently. You got Igor Shesterkin, maybe. Then you got UC Saros, who
Not good this year.
not good this year, but he is generally a good goalie. Like you got to start making some goalies look like crap. Like please, for the love of God.
You're good at doing it against the Rangers sometimes.
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 It's going to be.
It'll be nice to
in
get
New York.
a grudge match against Colorado at home with that. It was pretty high scoring when we.
It was a great game.
Year or week and a half ago, whatever it was.
Great game you shouldn't have lost. Like everyone needs to pull up their socks. Like maybe we're focusing way too much on the 5-on-5, and their penalty kill sucks.
Yeah, 30th in the league since January 17th, I believe. And that somebody asked me, I think it was Mark Dumont, who works at TSN in Montreal. He's like, "Why did they pick January 17th?" I'm like, "I think maximum effect." But
that's when they are the worst from.
That's when it started to crater.
They lose a 1-goal game against Florida, and I still think Florida was way the
Stop
better
one of
team.
those Sam Bennett power play goals.
You allow 2 power play goals that look pretty much, well, maybe not identical, but like
Same sort of play.
same flavor. And then the Ottawa game was a 2-penalty game. One because the refs were forced, and they scored. You didn't. That's the beginning, middle, and end. And welcome to every series against Boston. At some point, I think
It's weird to me because they have great penalty killers. Like, it's weird that they're this cold.
and they've been so good. It's an inverse of what we usually see. People they're missing it because they're like, oh, the power play. The power play's gone cold for like the last, I don't know, week. But since, I don't know, Christmas, it's
a top 10.
it's very, very good.
Yeah.
The penalty kill was top 10, maybe even top 5 all season, and they're dying.
So tell
and
me
they
then-
prioritize it at the deadline.
Tell me then why it's not Berube that people should be criticizing.
well, because he
I
doesn't.
know I know why I believe it shouldn't be. I have no criticisms for
Ridiculous.
him. The way I asked that question was
yeah.
though, like, I'm an angry Twitter account looking
Right.
for somebody to blame, and I'm posting a picture of Craig Berube and going fraud, which is something I actually saw this week. And I'm like, that is a Stanley Cup winning
That's a
coach.
shitpost.
That's a
That's
guy
a
who wrote.
shitpost, though.
That's a guy who played 1,000 games in the league. So tell me why.
Did he really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tell me why you're looking at Berube and you're going, this is not the issue.
Because you need something, and it's obviously the coach. But like all season long, we've been like Lane Lambert, hell of a job with the PK. Mark Savard, boo, and then it
Now
gets
it's the complete flip.
right. So why isn't it Lane Lambert's fault now? Is what I would say. Now, what's I would love to be a fly on the wall for the coach's room decision to sit David Kampf, because he was a part of that. He's a defensive black hole. Offensive black hole. He's both, I guess. That's a defensive black hole. Like that's where you go.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, because he
Man,
sucks up everything.
You
Yeah, that was
are
good.
the CEO of nothing. Like we put you out there and go out there, Queen. Give us nothing.
So the decision to sit him.
The decision to sit him completely changes your PK, but you obviously got Lawton for that role.
You have Yarncroke.
You have Yarncroke.
You have Marner.
Matthews. I don't know the numbers, but just like me visually going, okay, that's who was on the ice. That's who was on the ice. That's who was on the. Matthews is getting killed on the PK.
Well, that's what we were talking about last episode. Is
Stop putting him out
there's
there.
times to cut back Matthews' minutes and save him, and the PK is it. Like, that's when you don't want to play Austin Matthews, and they keep running him out there for a minute at a time.
And like Mitch is the constant, and like he's out. He does that enough that you.
He's objectively elite too.
Yeah,
He's
like,
amazing.
you can be pretty
Oh,
confident
yeah.
it's not him. All right, so and like, Carlos had a few moments, but like he just got here, and we know how we like to play that. Listen, I would like to see them take 4 penalties tonight and kill them all.
But yeah, so
why is it
bringing
not
Kampf
Berube?
out of the lineup, you're forced to use Matthews more on the PK.
Yeah.
Is the decision making.
Could you not use could you not use like who could you use? You can use Lawton obviously to take faceoffs.
Yeah.
Who else can you use? Like I'm surprised they never used Tavares. Guy wins
Ever.
faceoff. They've
Ever,
never
no.
even tried him.
They don't even really have a guy who's like Hyman, who took a wild amount of faceoffs for a dude who never played one game of center for the Leafs. But like they're like on the PK, they're like you're a center,
You're it.
right? So like, could Nyes be that guy one day? He ain't. I guess it's Holmberg.
Yep.
It could be Yarncroke. Like you have options there. To answer your question, why not Berube? Maybe it is. Like maybe it's a little bit him. Why I'm sick to my stomach with that is I think he's way down the list. This team has fired the coach twice with the same core. They have fired the GM. They've gotten new assistant GMs. They've gone through how many assistant coaches who run the PK. They've gone through how many assistant coaches who run the power play. They've gone through how many guys who play on the second, third, and fourth line. They've gone through how many defensemen. They've gone through how many goalies. Guys, do not make me spell it out. Come on. It's the same issues year after year. They're not scoring, and their special teams are letting them down. And who's here? Who's been around the whole time? Berube, if the Leafs are the kings of we just got here, and we're refusing to acknowledge the dudes who have been here the whole time.
Yeah.
Rielly's the only guy. He's the only guy who's been here the whole time. You know what? Throw him in the garbage.
Well, I mean,
Wiley Coyote him
I have
off
to be
of
honest.
Acme Cliff.
There's a guy like if people are complaining that they need more from Matthews, I think it's pretty symbolic that Rielly's been taken off the power play. That has gotten zero talk, but it is.
But it's done well.
It's done well. And then
They've taken him off the top unit.
they've taken him off the top unit and they put him and OEL out there on the second unit.
Yeah.
I think that's a big deal taking off the top unit, considering the Leafs top unit plays a minute 40 of every 2 minutes
But
on the power play.
5 forwards just kind of works.
Of course, and they
You
have
know?
the forward depth to do it.
Yeah.
I get
They
that.
do.
So then, okay,
I
so
like-
what are you going to do 5-on-5 to augment the offense? And what I'm not seeing from him are the plays where he is intelligently rushing it to a point, passing it to a guy. I'm just not seeing the confidence this year.
It is worth saying that the Leafs breakout sucks. Like
And
it's
he's the breakout guy,
I mean
or should be.
they have guys throughout the lineup who ought to be able to do it. Him, OEL, McCabe's can fire darts up the ice.
Danev's a good passer. Really good passer.
Danev's not bad at all. No. Like, I don't understand. Like, I know the Leafs decor is not scoring a lot. But, like, generally I don't look at them like, oh, man, they're completely incapable.
No.
Their breakout sucks. And that's not just their D. That's how their centers play. They're the second on every puck everywhere. Everywhere.
They're not good at dump and chase, and all they play is dump and chase.
No, but even in their own end.
Oh, on their own end, too.
In their own, but that's where it starts. And Florida, to me, was the greatest example of that. Puck is in the Leafs, and Leafs are just gliding in there, and the Panthers and they get in there, and even when the Leafs are able to escape it, they advance the puck up the ice. Let's say it ends up on the stick of a player in the neutral zone. Wow, someone's right there. So you got to dump it, and then no one's even close. It's not dump and chase; it's dump and change. That's it.
Adam,
And
but
you're just not gonna win anything.
You have problems with Morgan's play specifically in all facets.
I think he's been a letdown this year. And I don't like to say that because he is, personality-wise, one of my favorite Maple Leafs.
I think he'd tell
I
you.
will never forget how amazing he was in that one series that they've won in this era. He was outstanding, unbelievable. He had a 70-point season. But remember,
That was a long time ago.
This is what have you done for me lately? That's what this sport is. And so as much as I like Morgan the man, as much as I like what he's done for the Leafs, my question is, what exactly do you do here? And this is what I was trying to illustrate is power play went, well, they put him on power play too. Okay, well, what kind of production are we expecting out of Domi and who else is usually on the second power play unit?
Robertson.
Robertson. Well, when
Domi,
he's in the lineup,
Robertson, McMahon, OEL, Rielly.
McMahon for sure.
How much are they really expecting? Are they expecting that unit to go out there and win them a Stanley Cup? I don't think so. And so, okay,
That'd be cool.
So yeah, it'd be awesome. But I mean,
So
Ryan
they're
Reeves.
allowed.
Keep going
Ryan
down the
Reeves-
checklist.
So then we got your 5-on-5 work because you don't kill penalties because we've acknowledged that Morgan Rielly's defense is not the strongest, and that's always been.
He kills penalties. So I don't know how much.
But it's not. It ain't like it's not like his bag, right?
He's not top guy.
So I'm wondering. Okay, 5-on-5, dude. What are we doing 5-on-5? I like Carlo a lot. I liked him a lot in Boston. I think he's done really well here. His numbers support that. His advanced numbers. I think his Corsi on his own is like 60% since coming here. Corsi 4.
There's sometimes you just feel it. Don't turn on this guy.
On Rielly?
No, on Carlo.
No, he's great.
I'm looking down the barrel of the camera.
Who's turning on Brand
give him
Carlo?
I've seen like, I don't know if that was the move.
Oh, you guys are
Stop
wrong.
it.
You're wrong.
Stop it. Same with Lawton.
I'm on watch.
On watch, sure.
I'm on watch with Carlo.
I like him
That's
a lot.
fine.
Might be a lemon.
No.
Stop it.
No.
My mouth-
Stop.
Sour.
You're not gonna
Lemon makes things more delicious.
A little sour in my
Are you
mouth.
say? Are you putting? You can't put him on fraud watch though. That's like,
No, not that far. Only trash players get put on fraud watch.
Connor hella fraud.
You know what? At the beginning of next season, Jesse, just as an aside, you're gonna have to do a top 10 players on Jesse's fraud watch.
Okay.
Just for the channel.
Connor McDavid. Number 1. There you go. Same page, Steve. Let's go. Connor Hellebuck
It's gonna
again.
be my favorite hour-long video of all time.
Leon Draisaitl.
No, but we're talking about Rielly.
About
here.
Rielly. What-
I wonder because
Like, what's the role now? What's the
you're
role?
You're running down the list of role with Rielly, and if it's not the PP, if it's
PB2, which has never done anything.
if
for
it's
this league.
so PK, and then 5-on-5, he's struggling. Plus, he's not the number one defenseman that they're paying him to be because they're not paying a $12 million defenseman or anything. Nobody's getting paid.
There's no Victor
that money.
Hedman.
There's no Hedman. There's no McCarr. There's no Quinn Hughes. There's nobody in that position on the Leafs. So
You have to draft those
Rielly's
guys.
Rielly's been defaulted to that, but $7 million also in the new cap era isn't that much, but also that's the role he was paid for at the time, is be their big guy. So you wonder if there's an opportunity to reallocate that money this summer. I don't know if it's possible because of his no trade clause, but the way it's trending right now is not good because as you're outlining here, his role here isn't the role that you want for that player.
We've had 65, 66 games to figure out a role for him, and we still don't have it.
Yeah.
So, at what point are we going to say this is an issue?
Can I point out another consistency with this team? Derogatory. Every year we get to around this time, and we're talking about how beat up they look. Beat up and tired they look. And that's part of, maybe Ryan O'Reilly was right. Like, they got to de-emphasize these guys. Because, okay, let's go through who's playing their best hockey of the season right now.
William Nylander.
Okay, wait.
It's not even his best hockey.
It is
I
my
didn't want to
list.
stray too far from Morgan Rielly. I just wanted to talk about that.
No, he's part of it.
Okay.
Morgan Rielly. Okay. Is he playing his best hockey of the season?
No.
No. Matthews.
No.
Mitch Marner.
I
No.
actually think it's probably the best hockey of his career, just not lately.
On the season.
Yeah, on the
But
season.
Let's
last-
since Four Nations?
No.
Hell no. William Nylander.
Mostly
He's
yes.
playing pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty even.
Tavares.
I don't know how you
Entire
can complain
year.
about a guy who's second in league goal scoring.
No. Tavares, a little up and down, but I'd say
Tavares is good.
overall okay.
I think he's
pretty even.
I think he's
pretty
pretty
even.
great. Yeah.
So that's 2 of 5. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's like, okay. Well, it doesn't have to be those guys. Well, then who is it?
it kind of does have to be those guys, right?
Yes, it does.
So
Because that's how it's designed.
with the season long, they're not playing at their best. They're getting tired right now, kind of thing. Morgan, for the excuse for, I don't even call it an excuse, but the reasoning we gave to his play for the first 4 months of the season was new family, new baby.
Dude, it's hard.
It's a hard life.
Freaking hard,
It's
man.
hard.
It is hard.
And that's gone by the wayside,
and
in
new
the reasoning
system.
of his
Let's
play.
not forget new system.
And then, yes, I think that's a really big underrated part of this whole thing is that he is not comfy at all playing the style of hockey that Berube wants him to play. And he's admitted it. That's been an adjustment.
I'm trying to think, who were the big...
He'll look great in New Jersey next year with Keith.
Oh, who are the big offensive producers from the back end for Berube in St. Louis? That's who I'm trying to think of.
Well, Petrangelo.
Petrangelo's Petrangelo. Bless Morgan.
Yeah, he's not that. Yeah, no. I would imagine that Parayko was there during the Cup run.
But he's just a very solid defenseman, not exactly offensive. Justin Falk. but
Yeah.
like he's all offense all the time.
I think Scandella was there for a bit. Who else?
Vince Dunn wasn't even in the lineup.
Wouldn't even play him. They gave him away to Seattle.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's
It's just it's not a role that really the Berube system has.
If you're a goaltender, tend the goal. If you're a defender, defend.
Play defense. Yeah.
Is I think the way he looks at it. Like give me Tanev McCabe, paint you a Mona Lisa.
Maybe Morgan's not the right guy. If the coach is sticking around, maybe Morgan's not the right guy to have
For
on
God's
the team.
sake, he just
Like-
they're what are you gonna do? Fire him
Torrey
now?
Krug. Exactly.
Torrey Krug too. Torrey Krug.
Oh yeah, Torrey Krug.
But he's
Yeah.
been out most of the year.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I
So-
know there's somebody else. Nick Leddy's there, but he's not.
No.
Right.
Not-
so I
not
think
this point in his
at the end of the day, like it's about an organizational fit, and I don't know if it's there anymore. And it's been what 12 happy years as long he's been in this organization from the day he got drafted. 13. Like it just might
Man.
be. It just might have been something they've outgrown.
How has he been here this long? That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he was for many, many years the only option they had, and I think the way that the defense has sort of shifted, and I think it will continue to shift this summer. Like people are like, oh, they don't have to do anything on defense. I actually think that they do.
Well-
I think that there are moves to be made, and I wouldn't be shocked
It's-
if that was a conversation that popped up.
It's stable. I mean, at the end of the day, they can't score goals. They have goaltending. They have defenders locked up. If you can't score goals, it's not the worst position to be in that you can remake your whole forward group. And I mean remake it.
They're gonna probably need to.
Building through free agency scares me.
Yeah.
Still.
Hello, Nashville.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, hey, listen. When you don't have any other choice, you take what you're
Do
given.
the worst option.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, look what Boston did last year. It worked out great for them. Okay, so we'll leave the Leafs for now. But listen, when we reconvene on Wednesday, if things have gone right for the Leafs against Calgary and you're happy, what does happiness look like, guys?
A win.
Just a win? Because I think you said it earlier. You said if they beat them 8-0.
Long-term decisions like about the Leafs' future can't change with tonight's game.
But if what they could do is go in against a white-hot goalie or a red-hot goalie in the Flames case,
oh,
Dustin Wolf,
oh, no.
and build some confidence, right?
Yeah.
Build some confidence against this guy. What does that look like? And obviously, we did a whole segment on Friday's show about how great Dustin Wolf is, so you already know we love him.
This is the lineup, the Leafs lineup tonight. This is the team to do it against. Calgary, we went through it last show, are last in like every non-Dustin Wolf stat. Yeah. And you're
It's not an exaggeration.
no. And on a day's rest, at home, third game of a homestand, with last change, and a deep 4-line lineup. For God's sakes, you should be able to run this over. And if they don't, oh boy, yeah, I'm going to be pretty worried heading into Wednesday.
These guys are professional athletes. Now's not the time to not have your legs because they gave you Friday off. You played Saturday. They gave you Sunday off. It was scheduled day
Give
off.
Sunday off.
You got Sunday off too. You skated this morning. You should have your legs back. Like the road trip was last Tuesday. Utah was. You came back home for that Thursday game. You should be good now.
Well,
I expect you to recover that quick.
Words mean something. Craig Berube was like, they're pissed off. Okay, there's bing, bang, bang, bang. Like, how many more? This game means something to them as well. I think you got just a win. Great, you win 2-1 in the shootout. Whatever. I think you got to run them over. And listen, it's the NHL. All the teams are really good. Hey, if being on the road is literal poison, as we've discovered recently, you should kill these guys. We'll see.
How many goals does Nazem Kadri score tonight?
None.
Whoa! Joseph Wool, by the way, is starting. So he's had a bit of a shaky go lately. It'd be nice
He's a
to
good
see-
goalie.
Of course he's a good goalie.
He's a good goalie. He was good last game.
How many guys on this team played with Nas?
Rielly,
Well, the core
Matthews, Marner.
Core five.
Yeah, all
Willie.
of them.
Yeah,
Tavares.
so the whole
yeah,
core
yeah.
five, yeah.
And that's
Probably
it, right?
just those. Probably just those guys.
Yeah, everybody else is different.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a situation where I hope on Wednesday's show we're going, okay, so that was a good builder game. Now we got to play Colorado and New York.
And then, yeah, they win 5-1.
And then Friday we're like, yay, they won them all.
No.
How insane.
No, and then, no!
Nashville. All right, so moving
They got
on.
shut out by Jonathan Quick.
When we're on the road, and we will be next week, one of the things that
on
we
the road
use
right now.
Well, we are on the road. Yeah, we're right. You're right. We are on the road. But when you're using public Wi-Fi, I'm not worried about it in Scotiabank Arena.
I am.
But I am worried about it when you go to a different country or you're in like a sketchy Wi-Fi zone and you're using the thing and you're like, should I be using this in this coffee shop without any protection?
I thought you were going to say Oshawa. I was going to get very upset.
Mostly Oshawa. NordVPN.com/dangle. We want you to grab an exclusive NordVPN deal, okay? It's huge discount off your NordVPN plan plus 4 additional months on top of it, completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, okay? And what that does is it allows you to have security. You know that everything's encrypted. You've got your VPN is hidden. Your personal VPN is hidden. Nord takes care of that, and it is one of those things that you can feel really, really good about. One thing I know that Tim Hraney from our Formula One show uses this all the time because he's in different countries all season long, following the races, and he just doesn't know. And so he's like, you know what? Why don't I just take that thing and put it on and whatever. It's easy. So go to NordVPN.com/dangle. And then again, that discount is NordVPN plan plus 4 additional months on top, completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Check it out. Going to the standings watch, I already mentioned this, and I think it's important to mention that our good friends, the New York Rangers, are in a playoff spot as of this weekend. And what's more interesting about it is the Montreal Canadiens are a point out.
Shoo! It's so many things need to happen for this to happen, but
Montreal has 2 games in hand, too.
all 7 Canadian teams could make it. It's unlikely. I kind of want to see it.
It's
The
also,
Leafs would have to make it.
Yes, the Penguins fans were musing this weekend that at 66 points, they're only 6 points out, which is enormous at this stage.
It's realistic.
But they have
Oh my God,
they have
Steve.
Not
they have
realistic, sorry. Possible.
they have a 2% chance of winning, and everybody's like, "You're saying there's a chance."
Buffalo is still not eliminated from a playoff spot.
How far back is
Like,
Buffalo?
are you-
Only San
How
Jose
far back is
is
Buffalo?
eliminated.
Like, are you saying,
San Jose,
Buffalo?
they are 58 to 72.
Stop it.
You do this every time.
I'm going to take
possible.
the points that they're going to get for the rest of the season. I'm going to take the over.
This is carried on from literally preseason of you picking everybody's over
Yeah.
to now where you're like, you know what? They might make the playoffs.
You know what
Their games matter.
the
matter.
interesting thing though is watching the Boston Bruins sink the way that they have. They lost 2 over the weekend. They are now 3rd last in goal differential in the Eastern Conference. 3rd last behind only the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers.
I need the Leafs to start winning some games so I can enjoy this.
I know, right?
We've waited so many
Can't
years.
enjoy Boston's downfall if the Leafs are also falling.
We've waited so many years for this downfall, and now you're going to stink? Stop it.
Yeah.
Let me enjoy
I
this.
thought it was interesting that I guess he's just skating, but they had Charlie McAvoy out on the ice skating 2 times, I think, last couple days before practices. I was like, are they really going to bring him
Shut him
back?
down.
Like maybe
What are we
he's just
doing?
skating because he wants to stay healthy and everything, wants to get back into shape and all that. But I hope they don't bring him back for this.
Dude, he might be their new captain.
Yeah, but next year.
Next year, but like have him around the guys and everything.
Totally, but don't bring him back in a game. I don't know.
No, I feel like if I remember correct, Lindholm is done. Hampus Lindholm.
Yes,
McAvoy, I feel like
It's a patella, I think.
McAvoy's week to week.
so it's not like astounding that he's back. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh man, he repaired a torn Achilles in 2 weeks. You know?
But you remember out of 4 Nations when he went to the hospital because Minnesota's medical staff bumblefucked everything.
Good word.
And now he's week to week. But I saw him skate, and I was like, is he coming back for this? This team that's just falling down the standings. But I don't know. You're competitive. You want to play all the time.
I do
but
want to say,
that's an
I
aside.
know we think the top end of the Western Conference is stronger, and I think there's a pretty good argument for that West versus East. But I will say that when you
Washington
look,
Capitals erasure.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is you look at the bottom end of the Western Conference, and they are just so much worse than the bottom end of the East. Like I'm looking at goal differentials. The San Jose Sharks, where we will be next Monday.
Who beat the Leafs?
We got to talk about the ticket packages. We
We
have
do.
out. Yes.
Minus 77 in goal differential. Compare and contrast with in the Eastern Conference, the worst you can get is a minus 48 from the Pens. And I look at the wild card. Both teams in the wild card are in the double-digit negatives in goal differential. That's the Minnesota Wild with a -10. They've had a lot of injuries.
They're falling.
Vancouver Canucks, disaster. They've had they've just had a rough year, but they're still hanging on to that playoff spot.
They're there.
One team to look out for: the St. Louis Blues. They're at a neutral exact zero goal differential, and they are tied in points, but they played an extra game over Vancouver, so St. Louis could sneak in.
Again, Steve, what would you trade Braden Shen for? I wouldn't. I'd hold on.
Still make it.
Why are they? Yeah,
Binnington's been on fire.
What are you? Yeah. Oh my God.
He's been amazing.
He was booty heading into the Four Nations.
He's the one guy that's played better since Four Nation. Everybody else has been.
Everyone's been and Nathan McKinnon, because he's not of this world.
Since February
And
1st,
Makar.
the
And
St. Louis Blues.
The Avalanche guys.
Since February 1st, the St. Louis Blues have the third most total points in the entire National Hockey League.
Amazing.
Can you name me the two teams who have more points than the Blues since February 1st?
I'm going to go the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Steve?
The Lightning and the Habs.
Both of you nailed the Lightning. They have the most points of any team since
Because
February
of course
1st.
they have to.
Second most points, the Los Angeles Kings.
Oh, they've been on a tear. By the way, I know we're in the Monday Night Hockey set here.
What?
Their last game is going to be a Monday, which is Edmonton, LA, and it's looking more and more like that first round is going to happen again.
Yeah.
Is that going to be one of those
that'll be game 82.
eight-game series?
Well, it's going to be I think it's going to be Bakersfield versus the Ontario Reign. Like, I don't think.
Yeah, but just the goons.
Yeah, get out there and fight.
Also, correction, it's the Kings tied with the Blues. They both have 23, plus the Avalanche and Jets also have 23. So a bunch of teams tied at 23, but Kings, second most points in the National Hockey
Habs.
League.
I was close. 13th.
Yeah, no, not really up there.
They've been good recently.
Yeah, 8-5. 8-5-2.
Good for the Habs.
Yeah.
Happy for their fans.
Decent.
It's going to be a fun time. Something else that happened over the weekend that kind of caught my eye was Connor Bedard getting a second 10-minute misconduct in a row. And this comes after Jason Dickinson hit Philip Hedl.
Yep.
Which means Philip Hedl is on concussion watch again, which is brutal for that player.
Kiefer Sherwood decided to kick off Bertuzzi Moore 2.0. It's months and months are gonna pass, and you're gonna forget about it, and they're not gonna, and it's gonna blow up next season, and you're gonna be real confused. But
Maybe they play each other again before the end of the year. I don't know.
no, they don't.
They don't.
That's why he's like, we're getting them next year.
Okay, but so with Bedard, I've never seen a first overall pick get two 10-minute misconducts in games in a row in a regular season, and I think it speaks to where the Blackhawks are right now, which is not in a good place.
I also think it speaks to the complete lack of preparation any NHL official puts into any hockey game. We last year, I think it was Adam Fantilli. Someone committed an infraction against him. I don't remember what it was. And Fantilli said to the ref, "Oh, actually, he didn't do that." Yeah,
it was kissing on the ice.
They were
2
kissing.
minutes. Yeah.
2 minutes
And
for
he said
smooching.
he didn't actually smooch me.
Yeah, no.
And the
They're
ref,
like, no smooching.
No, he didn't give me the tongue.
and the ref goes, "You go to the box." And Adam Fantilli goes, "Why?" And the ref goes, "Because you're new in the league and haven't signed a stick for me yet." And
That's not really what he said. For anybody looking to sue us.
well, he might have. It wasn't mic'd up. He could have. And I think the same thing is happening with Bedard. Oh, you got abusive officials last game? Well, you're going to be on watch, and you say boo to a goose to me, and you know what? You're out too.
By the way, I love when you say boo
to a goose. You say
such a
anything to
ridiculous
me,
saying.
including boo to a goose, you're out. I mean, this is the same group of guys that made the Calgary Flames the worst penalized team in the league because one of the Flames hurt one of their own in what was a terrible incident, and we can all agree on that, but we can also be like, oh, this happened. Then they got the worst whistle in the league until, wasn't it the commissioner stepped in?
No, it was Brian Burke went public with it and said, we are the most penalized team. And by the way, Dennis Weidman was not on the team anymore. That was the end of his career.
Doesn't matter.
We're just going to go after the Flames?
Yeah, because that's what we do. We go into, I'm telling you guys, watch for it. Watch for your favorite team. And everyone's going to have players on their team that take too many stupid penalties. And then there are players where refs are looking for an opportunity. Matt Rempe. Matt Rempe deserves a lot of penalties. Did he deserve one the other night?
No.
When a player, I think it was on the Wild, skated into him? No.
I know exactly what one you're talking about.
Yeah, but 73's out there. And the second 73 steps over the boards, the refs like this. They got the whistle at 2 inches from their mouth because they're just ready to toot on that thing. Right? And I think they were looking to give Bedard one because they're looking to teach him a lesson.
I think that's exactly it. I don't think it speaks to what the Blackhawks are right now. I think it speaks to, well, maybe a little because he's their star and he's so young, but it speaks to just how sensitive the refs are.
I mean, they're
like,
also he's also completely alone.
if that's Brad Marchand, I don't know what Bedard said the first one. If that's Brad Marchand on the bench who says some whatever garbage Bedard said at the ref, he gets away with it. I think if that's any veteran player in this league, he gets away with it. But because it's this kid, the refs are like, no.
You're not going to sass me, child.
Bar.
Yeah, you're not going to sass me, you little baby.
There is
How did
no
they even
bar.
let you on the ice?
There's no bar. Yeah. It's purely their discretion.
Yeah.
And you know this because of literally every hot mic moment we've ever heard is a player going, fuck you to the ref, and the ref going, fuck you right back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, like, I don't want to be too loud, guys, because the off-ice official room is not too far from here. We are in Scotiabank Arena.
I don't give a fuck. I hope they hear every word.
You might get 10 minutes, Steve, if they hear
yeah?
you yapping a little too hard.
I'll sign your stick for you. The fuck? Like,
Yeah.
But I think I think these refs are very sensitive across the entire league, and they saw a kid chirping, and they're like, no, you gotta spend 10 years in this league to chirp. Get out of here.
They gave him
it's nonsense.
the Fantilli whistle, the Rempe whistle. I can't wait till Rempe is like an established, respected, grizzled vet who they just love and can just murder whoever he wants.
We're
with
having
impunity.
Rangers are banking.
We're having the other conversation about Rempe. It's like he gets away with everything.
Yeah.
He's so big.
Yeah, he's just so good at working those refs.
No, but
Right?
if fuck you, no fuck you, isn't abusive officials or isn't a penalty or anything. So what is?
Well,
Right.
but I think it comes back to the fact that the Blackhawks have just they've exposed Bedard.
How the hell aren't they last?
Well, yeah. I mean,
The Sharks are
they've literally
amazing.
You've seen the look that he remember
They're
a couple,
unreal.
couple weeks ago, like him sitting in the box and like people were like, he looks
Miserable.
You know what I'm talking about. You know the look I'm talking about.
I saw
Everybody
the screenshot.
watching and listening to
Celebrini
this
always
knows.
looks like he's having the best time.
Yeah, and there are
It's
games.
totally
the Sharks are
different.
getting rocked. They're getting rocked. They're getting negative 77 goal
They
differential.
traded everyone, including I think the team chef at the deadline. He's on Nashville now. They wanted better chefery. Who did the Blackhawks get rid of? There was Seth Jones, obviously. That was a large trade.
Yeah, and he's been really outscored.
So, like, all their guys where we were like, oh, maybe. Connor Murphy? Nope. Ryan Donato? Nope.
They want to resign him.
Mrazek. Ooh.
Mrazek, yeah, he's in Detroit.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, because they have 14 goals.
all that is to say, hey, here's a team that needs to fix its problems in free agency. That'd be the Chicago Blackhawks.
They
need
tried.
They're going to need to do it again, and they're going to try harder. They're
Mitchell.
gonna- Mitchell?
Oh.
Mitchell?
No, I think. Well,
That'd be crazy.
I think they want. They've already said that they want Kaprizov, and Kaprizov's camp has already
They did?
signaled they'd be interested. Yeah. There was that story last summer. It's like Blackhawks
Wasn't it-
targeting
was it the
Kaprizov,
Sharks?
and no, that was Blackhawks.
Who's the one
'Cause
with
it's
the
interdivisional, right?
Who's
That's
the
why
one
it was
with
such
the
a big
Sharks?
story.
Was it Draisaitl?
Draisaitl.
Remember you
Oh.
came to the
Sharks
show with
wanted
that, and you're
Draisaitl.
like, I know the owners of the Sharks or
Oh,
something.
the owner of the Sharks, a German guy.
Yeah.
You
guys are- 'cause you're billionaires together,
If
right?
Draisaitl had gone, if Draisaitl had gone to free agency, the best offer in my view would have been from San Jose.
Because he told you that on his private
No,
jet.
he did not.
Okay.
He did not.
Adam-
Maybe he will next week when we're on it.
Adam and him got dinner together where all rich people go. The Keg. They were at the Keg together,
Hey man, the Keg Mansion, it's good.
and Adam did what everyone who thinks they're so friggin' smart does.
What's that?
They go to the Keg and order salmon.
Oh no.
It's so good.
No, get the
it's
bacon.
so good.
You get the bacon wrapped sirloin. Are you out of your mind?
Oh man.
This isn't even paid for. I
I
Salmon's
like
good,
the
though.
blackened chicken.
You go to a steakhouse and order chicken?
The keg
Adam,
makes
I'm telling you.
the keg makes really good chicken.
Yes.
Nice.
Sorry.
Come on.
sorry,
Are you
they do.
kidding? Are you kidding?
Also, keg nachos.
Gift cards, please.
Keg, well, you know I'm already out on the nachos.
Yeah.
I have not tried the nachos. Also, you're wrong.
Now I want to talk about.
What are we talking about?
We will have time to get to.
Yeah, they shouldn't have given them that penalty.
Will we have a press conference? Will we have questions?
No, maybe.
All right.
Well, it depends on if you. Yeah, we could
I
probably
do.
do it.
I do want to do a press conference,
Sure.
but I do want to spend the next 10 minutes
Pull them
talking
up.
about Mikko Rantanen's not so revenge game against the Colorado Avalanche. Now, before the game, and I respect this. People get on players and coaches for talking. I like a good quote, and Mikko's been giving them. And here's what he had to say. 6 weeks before the deadline, we were still negotiating, and at that point, I felt at that time I needed to talk to the front office, which I did face-to-face. I told them I'll be flexible, and I want to play here for a long time. Then a couple days later, they traded me. Pretty big quote. I heard about something that this was a family decision. That is not true at all. It was a hockey decision at the end of the day. My hockey career, family will come wherever I want to go. So I want to correct that one too. It was a hockey decision and nothing else, and that's about Carolina. Then he asked about the he was asked about the trade to Carolina. First couple of days were slow, a little shock for me for sure. But then I went there with an open mind. I never listed any teams at that point. I've heard somebody say that, I went there with an open mind to play long term, and I did. I tried my best. And
Skeptic.
And I'm less skeptical. I thought Friedge made a really good point on 32 Thoughts when he said, listen, like they played like 2 home games over the entire time Rantanen was there.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no way to sell him on the facilities, right? There was no way to sell him on life in Raleigh. And so,
Yeah.
okay, and maybe, and then Mikko Rantanen gets a dose of Rod Brindamore's system and goes, yeah, I don't think so. And a lot of high-scoring players do. I know.
He had to make a decision very fast.
There were Canes fans who reached out to me and they were like, listen, I think you were a little bit off on the Guentzel thing. He always wanted to stay here, and they would have given him
and
the
he's
right
looked
offer.
great in a Hurricanes jersey since.
Yeah. This is the thing, right? It's like he wanted to stay here. You can say that after you've signed a contract elsewhere.
Girl, how many times I got to tell you if he wanted to, he would? How many times?
Maddie's giving the snaps over there in the
If he
corner.
wanted to, he would.
Now, Mikko Rantanen did not score in that game, and I'm just pulling it up the recap here. But somebody else did, and it's the guy everybody forgets about. It's Matt Duchene. He tied up the game and forced it to overtime.
Drew called him the devil. Ooh, he did ice the Avalanche in the playoffs.
He did. So Matt Duchene
Didn't win
is
a
the guy
couple.
that ties up the game. We get a Rantanen assist on the first Jason Robertson goal, but that's about it. And so, looking at the entire picture, it was a close-fought game. These teams likely meet in the playoffs at some point.
Awesome.
That's going to be a hell of a series, right?
Poor Dallas. Like
Their defense is just not great
No, I meant poor Dallas. Like
without Heiskanen.
they're living proof that oh man, who would you rather play in the first round? Like, okay, so last year we got Satan himself. This year we get Beelzebub, and next year I'm sure Lucifer, Morningstar, times Thanos, Cthulhu. Like listen, you got to play good teams in the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. It was
Sorry.
a great game. Great game.
Yep.
Do you think it's time for Mikko Rantanen, even if he hasn't moved on? I know he's signed his contract and that sort of thing, but emotionally you can understand how somebody could still be stung. Is it time for him to stop answering questions about it? He's going to continue to be
Yes.
asked. Is it time for him to discontinue answering?
You got a new team. You got an 8-year contract. You went back to Colorado. You answered the questions. That's enough. That's enough.
I
It's
gotta
over.
say, I like the quotes, man.
I like the quotes
love
too,
the quotes.
and
It's great
that's
for
why
us.
you should leave them. That's enough. The book is great. No more edits, please. Leave it.
Yeah, I'm about done with this story. Like, I don't need to hear more about Mikko Rantanen's time in Colorado.
Then let me ask you this: Who
And
messed
why.
up harder? The Avs by not going to $12 million, or Mikko for not accepting 11.5?
Look how good the Avs have been.
Yeah, the Avs didn't mess up at all. They made a decision that they had available to them, and I think they made a right decision based on how they're winning right now.
Ice cold. Yeah. Ice cold
Also,
business.
They probably did a good thing by not giving him a no movement clause. Maybe like a number of years ago, throughout his entire length of his contract, and they had the ability to trade him in this year. It's good.
Can't imagine what that would
good
be like.
stuff.
Can't imagine. Jesse, what do you have up on the screen there?
One thing that I thought we should get to, because James Myrtle put together the Owners survey.
Oh, I didn't even see this. Okay,
Yeah, so it is let me just read the title. NHL Owner Rankings, grading every team from Tampa to Buffalo.
love it.
Tampa Bay came in first.
I guess Buffalo's the worst owner then, huh? I guess they.
Well, you never know.
Tampa
They
Bay
listed 2 teams. Who's to say?
Tampa Bay came in at first.
Yeah.
A plus.
Oh, yeah?
Everybody loves Jeff. Vinik.
In terms of their ownership.
Oh, you might have been right then.
Jeff Vinik, the owner, ranked 3rd in willingness to spend, 1 in organizational stability, treatment of fan base 1, franchise vision 2. And at the very bottom, the Buffalo Sabres, where I think is we have
that's
to
a lot
talk
of
about,
scrolling.
have to talk about them a little bit. Terry Pegula came in last with a grade of an F. Owner since 2011. Regular season rank 32nd. Playoff wins rank 32nd. Willingness to spend 32nd. Organizational stability 32nd. Treatment of the fan base 32nd. Franchise vision 32nd.
What did he not finish last in?
I believe that's all 4 categories on
He's
the
last.
fan base evaluation ranking.
Who-
32nd.
Who did they ask about this?
So it was a survey of fans. And only Minnesota Wild fans voted more within the survey. Buffalo Sabres fan came out in second most. But Myrtle noted that the vitriol from the responses from Buffalo Sabres fans was by far and away the most from any of the fan bases.
I have to tell you, doing this job, one of the things you run into is, are fans that are religious about their team. And it doesn't matter that they're currently on the outside of a playoff spot looking in. If you go, yeah, that team's not really performing to where what we maybe thought they were going to be, you will still find people most of the time who will tell you, you're wrong, and their underlying number on this is great. And you're like, and you look at that and you go, okay, while I disagree with that, I understand what it is to be obnoxiously optimistic about my team and live and die by something. They could turn it around. Believe me, we built a career on it. But where I never see that is Buffalo. Buffalo fans, you could be like, the Sabres suck, and the fans are like, yeah, another one thinks so too, and they're from out of market, and they agree with us. And what the hell are we going to do about this? Everybody get on board. And with the Coyotes gone, the Buffalo problem has become a lot more of a highlight.
Coyotes fans defended their team.
Yeah, they did.
Is it
Like,
wrong
here's
to
the
say
difference.
that
Wrongly.
I've moved off of like expecting more out of Owen Power or praising Tage Thompson or saying JJ Peterka needs to reach his potential or whatever, and I've moved past even Kevin Adams, and it's just on like Terry Pegula sucks at running a hockey team.
I think it's
And
not
it-
that he sucks. I don't think he cares, which is even worse.
Yeah, which is
At least if he tried.
That counts.
Yeah, which is
counts.
Like
bad at it
Jerry
then.
Jones tries. He sucks at
And-
it, but
yeah.
they make the playoffs.
That's fair.
Jerry
That's
Jones
fair.
is in the office.
Like I'm past the on ice stuff. I'm past the front office stuff. From the ownership down, he needs to get rid of this team.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, drop the franchise if you don't like.
Yeah,
Listen,
like-
you're cool. Listen. I'm thrilled for the Bills' success. I'm great. Josh Allen seems like a great guy.
Yes.
I'm pumped for Bills fans.
True unicorn.
True, absolute true unicorn.
Left
and guess
money
what?
on the table.
And they paid him $250,000, and he still left money on the table, or $250,000,000, excuse me.
Yeah.
And I look at what's happening in Buffalo now, and I go, the Sabres are slam dunk easy. They are a couple players shy, and they need some vibes of making the playoffs.
But
They
that's
are.
it.
They are.
Lost in the Darlene stuff. He's like, I never asked out of there. I did. Okay, back up.
Because that report was proven false. That he did not ask to leave,
Proven
se.
false, or he said
Semantics.
it's false.
per se.
Like,
Semantics.
Per se.
Here, okay, leave his name out of
It's
it.
not that I don't believe that Bissonnette heard that. I believe Bissonnette heard that.
Leave his name out of it. Leave Darlene out of it. Why would any player want to play there?
Exactly.
Well, and so to answer Jesse's question from right before that, to support yours, Jesse was like, hey, man, when do I expect more out of these guys or whatever? It's like, when they leave. Yeah, when they leave, they all win. This craziest thing.
crazy.
Yo,
Like-
Jack Eichel, Reinhart, Brandon Montour. Who else do
Cousins
you want
is
to mention?
having a good little couple days.
Hey, McCabe's gone really, really well in Toronto.
Oh, jeez. Like, forget. Like, it's not a slight against the city. It could be.
Of course it isn't.
It should be called Roller Coaster Money Town, where all the roller coasters are made of money, and after you ride the roller coaster, you get to take some of it with you. The owner sucks. It's from the top down. It's all bad, all the time, breakneck speed.
Well, and the owner cares about two things. He cares about the Bills, and his daughter is one of the top-ranked tennis players in the world. That's what he cares about.
Really?
Yeah.
Jessica Pegula.
Yeah, she's
Oh, yeah.
she's amazing. She's incredible. Like, why own it?
Right. That and you were talking about slam dunk things about like the team being the slam dunk thing for me is hockey working in Buffalo,
which it does.
It's so the fans are so passionate. Passion per capita might be the highest in Buffalo out of any city in the entire National Hockey League besides Toronto.
Like per capita?
Per capita, yeah, probably per
Crazy.
capita. They probably win too.
Yeah,
just because of how small the actual population is, and he can't make it work there because he doesn't give a shit about the team. And like at that point, why do you own this thing? Give it to somebody who cares so deeply about hockey in Buffalo.
I get somewhat. Well, I don't know. A lot of Sabres fans I've seen give it to Kevin Adams. And, like, he had that terrible press conference with palm trees and everything. But, like, at the end of the day, like, what's he supposed to do? His boss sucks so much. And so fucking much.
He was also, like, the wrong guy for the job. Like, they
because of them.
He was the neighbor.
Yeah, his boss
was the neighbor.
Put the wrong guy in the position. It's not his fault that he has to be GM of the Buffalo Sabres.
Because they kept firing everyone.
Job.
They kept firing everyone. No one wants the job, so they hired their neighbor.
Exactly.
Let me give you something. Okay, so the franchise valuations that we talked about in December. Okay, since Arizona left, and this is why I highlight Arizona leaving because. Okay, Arizona sucked up all of like 99.999% of poorly run franchise discussions, right?
Were unfair.
Terrible. So they moved to Utah, and the franchise value spikes 78% to $1.2 billion. That's what they're worth as of December.
Wow.
There are only 4 teams that are under 30% in valuation change year over year, meaning that they've gone. All the teams benefited so much from Arizona leaving and going to Utah that everybody jumped at least 30%, except for the Montreal Canadiens, who were already pretty high up. They are the 3rd most valuable franchise in the sport.
30% for them is a lot.
That's a lot. It's 30% on $2 billion already.
Yeah.
Like now they're at $3 billion, right? And I look at here are the other teams. Are you ready?
Sure.
And I'll give you the reasons why they don't jump as much.
Why?
The Ottawa Senators, because they hadn't made the playoffs, and Ottawa's a government town. It's a tougher market, okay?
Sure.
You can understand why that didn't jump that much. The Winnipeg Jets, 19%, because Winnipeg is a tougher money-making market. They were having trouble selling out. They're selling out more now.
Canadian dollar's got to be a factor there.
It wasn't back then. Remember, this was pre the wiping out of the trillions. The Columbus Blue Jackets, again, that's a poorly run franchise.
Them being good and relevant is new.
And going to be a good thing. And
Yes.
then you look at the Sabres. They were 26%. That's a market that is hockey mad, that should have jumped at least 35, 40%. And if you're the owner of that franchise, you got to be looking at that and going, well, we're missing out on value here. The reason I'm going to answer my own question early. The reason he's not selling it is because it just went up a quarter and he didn't even do anything. Now we just continue finishing last, and we get
literally running it the worst possible way, and he's making hand over fist.
25% valuation increase year over year, and we finish last. That's great.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's awesome.
I'm not sure he's looking at that like a bad thing.
No.
Also, you know what went up? I bet the Bills. You know
Yeah.
what's doing probably pretty good? The Bills.
And this is the thing: when Buffalo takes off as a market, that goes to 50%. That is going to be that market is unbelievable when they're we remember. We remember the Hasek years.
Oh yeah.
We remember
And the
not
Marty
fondly,
and the
even
Marty
kind of.
Biron and the Ryan Miller, all those years, they were miserable to play against. Miserable.
Yes,
So
I hated it a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, just that's my rant for that. So should we do some press conference questions?
No, I don't have the questions there on my
Okay.
phone.
Well, then why don't you?
I can't. I don't have my phone.
Well,
next
maybe
to
we'll
me,
do an
so-
extended press conference Wednesday.
No, Steve. It's helping us record this program.
Oh, that far.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
can't.
So I do want to
can't.
say a big thank you to the folks at Amazon Monday Night Hockey for allowing us to come in and record here. This is their green room where they get everybody ready for air, and we got to hang out in here. And there have been a few people who have been waiting outside who are going to come in after us, but we're so appreciative to them of doing this. The John Forsland interview will run Wednesday, so you're going to see John and just listen to the man tell stories.
And that'll be the only thing we upload Wednesday because there are 4 off-ice officials waiting outside the room to kick our ass.
Did you want some of where the other teams rank?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, okay.
Let's do it.
The Toronto for Francesco Aquilini actually will go there. 31st.
That is also not surprising.
On the owner rankings. 25 on willingness to spend, organizational stability 30th, treatment of fan base 31st, franchise vision 23rd.
Give us who's the third worst?
That is Murray Edwards in Calgary.
No way.
Yes.
Wow.
26th in willingness to spend, 26th in organizational stability, 30th in treatment of fan base, 30th in franchise.
Man.
vision.
Murray, who's rarely there. Like
He's-
he's
Is that
rarely
true?
in North America
I
these
don't-
days.
Y'all tell you what that tells me. He's got to ramp the propaganda up. Ramp it up.
We need another new arena.
Man, you need to meddle in some more elections there, Murray.
The Wirtz-
30th? Woo!
The Wirtz family comes in at 29.
Really? Huh?
Everyone beneath the Wirtz family right now needs to take a good look in the mirror. Holy shit. How'd you
Columbus
finish
is-
beneath them?
Columbus's owner, John P. McConnell, comes in at 28.
See, I think they are good owners who allow. Here's the problem with Columbus:
They were
they've-
hands off.
They were hands off. They hired the wrong people, and they were hands off for too long. Does that make sense? But they are. If you get the right manager in there, which they think they do,
Finally.
now,
Yeah.
and they're exactly like the perfect owner because they let the hockey people do the hockey thing, right? They don't interfere. So give me the best ones. Give me the best ones.
The Illich family, by the way, is 27th.
That's surprising.
That is real. Again, that's a good family.
So
though.
many lack of playoff success.
Yes.
You know, so many years out of the playoffs, I think people are
What?
very unhappy.
What have you done for
Tampa-
me lately?
Tampa's
Goddamn.
number one.
What's that?
Tampa's number one.
Tampa number 1, yeah, Jeff Vinnick. Number 2, Florida, Vincent Viola.
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 3, can you give a guess? We got the 2 Florida teams, and
I'm
who's
gonna say Dallas or Colorado.
I was going to say Dallas.
Oh.
Okay, then I'll say Colorado.
Bill Foley
Oh.
of the Vegas
Moron.
Golden
He's
Knights.
amazing. He's a great owner.
He
yeah,
ranked number 1
That's a-
on willingness to spend.
Bad miss.
And
Bad
again,
miss.
these are all fan voted, right?
Yes, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
fan voted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bad miss.
Tom
Gagliardi.
Gagliardi?
Gagliardi.
Gagliardi?
So there's 2 G's, but only one of them is present.
There's 2 G's.
Of who? Of whom?
Dallas Stars.
Dallas Stars. Okay.
Tommy.
Yeah.
And then 5.
5, Tom Stillman, St. Louis Blues owner.
Oh, I've heard really good. That's an owner you never hear about, which is
Good.
usually a good thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll wrap up with the Toronto Maple Leafs, who ranked. Oh, I got a little scrolling here.
Come on
Scroll,
now. Come on now.
Uh-oh, where did Evan
17!
came in
That
almost
as- that
right
is-
in the middle, actually.
Okay, that's purely lack of playoffs driven. This is like for what you can't say that this team.
Let me give you the rankings that the people said. Willingness to spend, they came in at 5th. Great.
Okay, that's just wrong. Like,
What do you mean?
well, like willingness to spend, they should be anywhere other than 1 is just false.
Yeah, they'll spend. They'll
Like,
overspend.
I guess.
Anything other
They're
than
super
1 is
spenders.
wrong.
Yeah.
But I look at a team like Vegas that's so willing to blow assets for the future.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I understand why Vegas
Yeah.
would win that over Toronto.
Yeah.
They're 5th. I'll relax. I'll
Toronto-
relax.
if Toronto-
Top 5, relax. Yeah.
But here's where they dropped to 17th because organizational stability, they're 20th.
They're pretty stable. Nobody gets
they're
fired.
No, they're not.
What do you mean?
We just had a new GM and coach.
Yeah.
Keith
but
Bailey
like,
just got it.
after 5 years.
We're about to have a new president, maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Maybe.
I don't know if I can say that
Maybe.
in here.
Sure.
Are you listening?
They kind of need to win.
What else? What else?
Treatment of the fan base, 29th.
Oh, that's wrong. That's not true. I don't agree with that.
The fans don't think so.
There's
think-
a Lego display a kilometer from here, and it's fun.
Can I ask you a question?
Ask me.
Nobody else. It's just you and me here.
It's just you and me.
Is Adam out of touch with the fans?
No, it is
as
the
a
fans who are
billionaire-
wrong.
It is the fans who are wrong.
If they were performing in the playoffs, that would be much different, right?
I don't know, Adam. Sounds like you're pretty out of
okay,
touch.
all right. Maybe I am. Maybe I
And
am.
franchise vision, Leafs come in at 21st.
Again,
Yeah, like
I get that.
why should they be higher though?
Well, they should be higher than that. I mean, at least they make the playoffs.
No, but
Right.
okay, what is the vision beyond this year?
Cloudy.
You got
With a chance of
Tavares
meatballs.
expiring.
Yeah.
You got Tavares expiring. You got Marner expiring. You got Shanahan holding
ball
on by
here.
a thread.
Yeah.
You know.
Cannot. What's the one? You know when you have those magic 8 balls? And it's
Yeah, I
it's
remember being 7. Sorry.
You know what?
I remember Toy Story 1.
Future is cloudy or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair. Oh man.
So
That's
Leafs
tough.
fans unhappy,
Well,
as they should be.
yeah.
Steve,
It also didn't help that they asked them in the middle of a losing streak. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
asked
think
them in
they
a
asked
winning
them
streak.
yesterday.
Asked them in a winning streak.
I don't think James wrote that in a day.
He might have. He's impressive.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Steve, do you agree with how you are like a lot of the times for a lot of people, the head of the fan base, and you project.
Whoa, I don't know.
I don't think he wants that.
I think for a lot of people, you project what the average Leaf fan is feeling, especially after games like Saturday, you know? So would you agree with that assessment of the fan base? I think that's a fair question.
Okay. I will say I think it's too harsh, but I understand where the frustration comes from. Like in terms of like what the team gives the fans, I do think they make a massive effort. They spend a lot.
I think ticket prices would be the reason.
Oh, well, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
I think
ass.
ticket price is why they feel that way.
And beer prices. Yeah, okay, so that's bad.
Yeah.
But the stuff they do, they're very involved in the community. They're always out there doing fun
Next
stuff.
generation games, all that stuff.
Yeah, they don't hide. They're pretty open. They will take initiative to speak to the media sometimes when they feel like it's necessary. Brad Treliving like last week. So 29th is pretty harsh. The lack of playoff success, I mean, you can't look past that. And the price is also very difficult to look past. But I don't know, 29th is pretty.
That's a little much.
pretty far down.
Yeah. I think that's
17th
that's-
overall.
I think it's a fan base crying out for some playoff
Listen,
success. I think that's what that is.
Winning the playoffs.
Hey, number one. That's crazy.
It's funny how 1 and 2 are two of the most successful franchises of this century.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah,
Who's won most of the cups in the last 5 years?
I want to go back in time. Oh, yeah. The two most willing to spend, Tampa and Florida. Right.
Yeah, where was Florida on that list like 5 years ago?
They would have invented a new slot, like 37th.
Yeah, 100%.
They're beneath the Whalers and the Nordiques.
We will wrap now. But thank you so much for joining us from Scotiabank Arena, our very first show.
Pretty cool.
Here.
Pretty darn cool.
Which is pretty neat. So thank you, Amazon, for having us.
Do you have the San Jose details?
Oh, San Jose details. Yeah. Hang on.
Okay.
Well, Jesse, do you have them?
Do you want me to pull them up?
You pull them. Because I did.
It's helping us record.
I did have them. But we have, the ticket packages are available. So let's get that.
Yeah, so if you want to meet us in San Jose, you can do that.
Too bad. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry.
Too bad. We're too good for you.
Here, while Jesse's looking that up. Let's see what we
We'll
got.
edit this. What'd you get?
No, we're not editing.
No, we're not
this
editing.
is all
We're not
staying
Any
in.
editing.
No.
Oh, please play again because you won a new car. No. Just please play again. That's
All right. I have here somewhere the San Jose info. Here we go.
Hey!
All right. So you can find all of the info on the SDPN Twitter account. Go to @SDPN Sports on Twitter. The San Jose Barracuda tweeted, "We have details on our visit to San Jose, the Steve Dangle Podcast visit. 4 days of events with Steve, Adam, and Jesse for you all to enjoy. We are excited to have a Barracuda watch party, a live SDPN podcast recording with an audience, multiple meet and greets, and even a post-game interview with the guys. So on the 26th, we're doing a Barracuda watch party. Mm-hmm. On the 27th, there's a meet and greet with SDPN. On the 28th, we got a Steve Dangle Podcast live watch party and a meet and greet. And then on the 29th, post-game interview with SDPN. The live podcast on the 28th, that's just open. Like, if you just get to the arena, you can come watch us. We're doing it at the Barracudas spot there, so you can just come watch the podcast. For any of the meet and greets on game days, so that's the 28th and 27th, you'll need a ticket to the game to obviously do that, but once you're in, you won't need an additional ticket. Same with the Barracuda watch party that we're doing on the 26th. So as long as you have a ticket to the game, you can come watch the game with us. So yeah, that's all the info. Find it on our Twitter account. There's also more info there. So yeah, if you want to come to see us in San Jose, we'll be there next week. Woo! Lots of fun stuff. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
you can
we're
wrap
wrapping.
now. You
Now
can
we're
wrap.
Okay, bye. See you Wednesday.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter @Steve_Dangle, @AdamWYLDE, and @Jesse Blake. Connection complete.